When the truth is too hot to handle, you need cold, refreshing facts. Conspiracy theories, your purveyors of truth.
Fact. Conspiracy theories. Truth. Conspiracy theories. Not truth. Conspiracy theories. Aliens. Conspiracy theories. Aliens too. Conspiracy theories. Malkins. Conspiracy theories. Conspiracy theories.
Hello and welcome to Conspiracy Theories, the first and only conspiracy theory podcast on iTunes. I'm your esteemed host, Eric Burke, and joined by our fellow purveyors of truth.
I'm Matthew Winkler, president of the Katherine Heigl Fan Club.
Dave Proctor, cadet first class in the Junior Abductioneers.
The topic at hand tonight is a location that's consistently been out of reach. Dave Proctor will be discussing Area 51.
I wanted to start with a question. When did you first hear about Area 51?
Cineplex, Odeon,
Okay.
the arcade. I saw the Area 51 game there and I played it and I would just shoot aliens.
Eric, when did you first hear about Area 51?
TLC documentary when I was 6 or 7, and it petrified me.
Amazing. And everyone at home, think back, way back. When did you first hear about Area 51? Don't answer for them. That's not...
No, we're going to pause for like 3.5 minutes.
Yeah. How could you have heard of Area 51 before then? Because it was not acknowledged to have actually existed until 2 years ago. There was absolutely no government record of it until 2013. The first time that it was ever announced to the public was after a Freedom of Information request based on the Freedom of Information Act in 2005 to ask, is this a real place? And the government played 8 years of hardball and then finally said, yes, it is a real place. But what's interesting is that the whole history of Area 51 is kind of shrouded in this back and forth mystery. And I don't just want to talk about the obvious alien stuff, because we are definitely going to talk about that. But it's a weird place. There's a lot of shady stuff that goes on. What we do know, Area 51 is a United States Air Force base. According to CIA documents, it is most properly called Groom Lake or Homey Airport.
I've been waiting for Homey Airport to come up. I was like, this is going to be good.
I thought I was reading the wrong thing because I looked up Area 51 and then I started reading about it and I'm like, there's no mention of aliens at all.
Yeah.
So I stopped.
According to the CIA, when asked about the region 26 miles outside of Rachel, Nevada, who I went to high school with, they will only say that that is called Groom Lake or it is called Homey Airport. And no one has ever actually had a firm grasp on what the site is used for. Partly because of how things are shrouded in mystery, but also because what actually gets released changes every day. The question is, what is exactly going on there, and why is it such a hotbed for conspiracy theories?
I was reading that Homey Airport was also built by the NWAC. Is there any truth to this?
Don't play that.
Now, how do they do the lawn care there? Do they use a lot of hose? Well, if they're going to groom it.
I don't like the Groom Lake name. It's a dry lake nearby. So we'll roll with Homey Airport for now.
Yeah, we'll keep it going.
Rachel, Nevada is part of what is dubbed the Extraterrestrial Highway in the Southwest states. That is where the highest concentration of UFO sightings happen in North America.
Are the sightings in the singles or the tens or the dubs? I
think they're in the dubs.
Okay.
At Homey Airport, we're rolling on dubs.
We're rolling on dubs sightings.
Area 51, the origin of the name. It comes from the fact that it borders the Nevada test site, the NTS, which is used by the Nuclear Energy Commission to drop a whole bunch of nuclear bombs.
Wait, they're dropping bombs at Homey Airport?
The Nevada test site is broken up into 20 regions, and Homey Airport is bordering region number 15. So one of the theories kind of says that it comes from, 51 is backwards 15. The other one says that it's a number so high that the Nevada test site would never use it in their classification. How high?
How high are they at Homey Airport?
So high that I can touch the sky. It's also been called a bunch of other things. These names just popped up in my research. Paradise Ranch, The Ranch, Watertown Strip, The Box, Red Square, The Farm, Dreamland, and of course, Air Force Flight Test Center, Detachment 3.
When I go to Groom Lake Salon, I always get the Watertown Strip.
Okay, so in the 80s, Skylab 4, which is a giant
A satellite camera.
satellite camera, were able to actually photograph Homey Airport. And the first people to actually see what was there. And when they found out that they were actually going to be flying over that area, they, like number of people, Secretary of State, Secretary of Defense, sent a lot of really threatening memos.
It had one caveat. You can fly your satellite camera over all of Earth, but the one place we do not want you to take a picture of is Homey Airport. And then they just did it, and no one checked. So this fucking image was out there for 30 fucking years, and they only found it in 2013.
Yep.
Whoa, wait a minute, this was out there this whole time?
And I think that starts the whole class action movement to get the Freedom of Information Act going in 2005. Specifically, you can't find the record that they knew about the picture back then, but you can find all the angry things that they were saying. And they were like, you are under strict orders not to do this. And the CIA considers no place on Earth more sensitive than Groom Lake. So it is this incredibly secretive area.
This is the same Homey rule that it's the reason why we don't know who killed Tupac or Biggie. Because you could take a picture of anywhere in the world, just don't take a picture of the homies.
Yeah, you can't take a picture of the homies. Another moment. In 1994, a bunch of widows of civilian contractors brought forth a lawsuit to the U.S. Air Force and the Environmental Protection Agency that their husbands, these contractors, had passed away due to skin, liver, lung irritation over long-term chemical exposure from working at Groom Lake. The U.S. Air Force, the CIA, they were pouring out unknown chemicals.
They were pouring them out on the homies?
Specifically for Homey Airport. And they just wouldn't curb it. The interesting part is that nobody knows what they were pouring out. The chemicals have never been identified to this day. Another fun fact. I'm just world building here.
These are really fun. People dying. This is so much fun.
Security is authorized to use lethal force to stop anyone from entering there.
The camo dudes.
And there are two dudes that drive around in a truck wearing camo that fellow truth drinkers refer to as the camo dudes. They're just guys that drive around in a truck, and if you get too close, they'll be like, guys can't go any further. And that's their job. What is Area 51's function? Some say it is for the storage, examination, and reverse engineering of alien aircraft to make new weapons, transportation modes, and energy sources. Some say it is for meetings or joint undertakings with extraterrestrials. Some say that aliens are being kept there. Development of means of weather control, and any activities related to the supposed shadowy one-world government of the Majestic 12 organization.
I want to be part of the Majestic 12.
Yeah, it sounds like a really big superhero team.
Are they working on weather control?
Apparently.
Do you think Storm is part of the Majestic 12? Yeah,
She was an all-new Uncanny Majestic 12.
Ah.
And she's a homie too.
Let's talk about it as a weapons testing facility. Anything that was supposedly happening there is entirely classified. What is known as the Air Force, the CIA, and Lockheed Martin, the major arms manufacturer, have used the base as staging grounds for test flights of experimental secret aircraft, also known as black aircraft, at Homey Airport. There's a lot of problematic naming happening here.
Groom Lake is really good at black aircraft. The salon I go to, they're pristine.
The speculation comes from the fact that they get all this new stealth technology, new ways of burning fuel in the air, new ways of creating planes. And the idea is that they're getting these technologies from alien craft. What is more interesting to me? Groom Lake Test Facility, the entire facility, was established in 1955 to test the Lockheed U-2 rocket. After World War II, there was a lot of desire to come up with competing rocket strategies over the Soviets so that we could be, not blindsided in case the Reds were to ever attack. Shortly after World War II, in 1947, about 80 miles away in Roswell, New Mexico, Roswell being a site that is often associated with the same alien conspiracy, a UFO supposedly crashed on July 7th. They said, yes, an unidentified flying object crashed. On July 8th, they rescinded that comment. They said, no. This was actually debris from a weather balloon for Project Mogul, which was a sort of balloon-creating project to raise high-altitude sonar devices into the air to hear nuclear test sites in Russia.
Sounds like a lot of hot air to me.
It gets hotter. So 1947, supposed UFO crash in Roswell, New Mexico. The following day, they retract the statement and say, no, it was Project Mogul. I actually Googled debriefings from Project Mogul. There's got to be a reason why this thing was set up so close to the crash site shortly after the crash. I Googled the reason that Area 51 was founded, Lockheed, and Project Mogul, who had nothing to do with it. But in the Project Mogul debriefings on July 7th, General Hoyt Vanderberg, one of the upper echelon men in Project Mogul, had a meeting with two guys from Lockheed. So actually follow this. We're looking for new ways to build rockets. Lockheed isn't even in the mix yet. Not until 1954 or 53. On July 7th, 1947, a UFO crashes. On July 7th, one of the guys for Project Mogul, I did air quotes, has a meeting with two guys from Lockheed. July 8th, they say it wasn't a UFO. It was for this project that we just made up that had no record of it before then.
It was all under lock and heed.
And then in 1953, the Lockheed guys come in, they pitch the U-2 rocket, and they get the contract. The facility is set up and immediately barricaded from every direction. Google Mogul, Project Mogul Lockheed, and you'll find the same document I did. It's a bit of a dig, but I care. That's why I do what I do for you.
That's what I do for you.
So now we have the reasons for it being founded sort of surrounding this ambiguous crash. Like there is an undoubted connection between Roswell and Area 51, even though most people, when they think Roswell, Area 51, they're actually 80 miles away. Like there's no real conflation of the 2 points, but there is a genuine connection.
How many 20s is that?
It's faux 20s.
Smoke weed every day.
Okay, let's get really weird. In 1987, there's a guy named Robert Lazar. Laser. He came forward and admitted that he was part of a government experiment that worked on alien technology. And everyone was like, what? You can't do that? People started doing research on him, and they can't find any records of his existence at Caltech or MIT, where he says he has degrees from both of these things. He's actually been rubbed out from history at this point. And though it's a really big, like an unbelievable task to erase someone's identity.
Sometimes it's harder to rub one out than other times. But this seems like it would have been a difficult time to rub one out.
It would be hard to rub one out under scrutiny, though.
You're doing it wrong.
Your finger technique's all wrong.
Especially if you're wearing what? MITs? You're wearing mitts. It's really hard to rub one out.
Terrible. Lazar alleges that there's a facility called the S4 facility near Area 51. He doesn't even know where it is. He was taken there on a blacked out bus, and he just worked a long time on alien craft and alien autopsies.
This is the guy whose job was to reverse engineer alien technology?
Apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah. He says the base itself has 9 hole hangars.
So half a golf course.
Yeah, nine hole hangars.
Sorry, it was Lazar's job to reverse engineer alien technology.
Yes.
When did we see the first piece of alien technology?
1947.
In Roswell? What's Lazar backwards?
Roselle, the human beatbox.
Yeah, but it sounds a lot like Roswell
Sounds a lot like
to
Roswell.
me.
And he's reversing engineering. I see what you did there. I like that.
Well, I'm see what I did there. These are facts.
I see what the facts did there.
Is Men in Black based on... That's based on Area 51, right?
The Men in Black are a whole other conspiracy.
Wait, that's an actual conspiracy?
Men in Black?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was just a
They're
full-on-
considered to be aliens in them, or not quite proper humans. Like they have strange features, almost like they're emulating human behavior, and they're weird with their mannerisms. But like usually they were known to come around whenever anybody was voicing a little too much of the truth, things like a UFO sighting or whatever. Like, but when people report what these Men in Black are like, they always say like they're just like off-putting. You know, like when you see like a crazy person and you just know that they're not right in the head, you kind of get like, oh, it's weird.
Why are you saying that? Why are you saying that?
I don't know. I'm
So
sorry.
why are you saying? Why are you saying that? Why? I just don't get why you.
I shouldn't say anything.
Yeah, you shouldn't say. You shouldn't.
I don't.
Let's get back to the show. What do you got there, Dave?
Oh, it's just a funny movie, Dave.
Yeah,
I
it's a
make
funny
this
movie.
look
It's just a
good.
funny movie.
It's a funny movie, David.
Funny movie, Dave.
Will Smith.
I
You know, like funny movies.
Do you like funny movies? Funny movies are funny.
You know, I haven't heard you say a funny thing
Yeah.
all day.
Yeah.
Maybe
You're laughing awfully quiet. For somebody who likes funny movies.
You should stereo pan these voices, by the way. Make people really uncomfortable. I've never actually heard that about the Men in Black. That's really interesting. I thought it was just a comic book.
Wait, it was a comic book?
Yeah,
Like, originally it was a comic, but it was nothing like the movies, other than some of the same characters have the same names.
Oh, okay.
So Lazar says that there's the S4 base, and it's got, you know, aircraft hangars built in the side of the mountain range. They're all camouflaged, and in one of them is where the scientists are studying extraterrestrial spacecraft, where he, in fact, worked. There is no record of S4 Area 51 necessarily, but it does make its appearance in a lot of documents concerning the Majestic 12.
What's the Majestic 12?
This is the sort of the bottom of the rabbit hole with
Is it
Area
like a
51.
secret society, like the Freemasons?
Yes, essentially. It does center itself mostly around UFO conspiracy theories, though. It is a secret society, but a secret society started by President Harry Truman to facilitate recovery and the investigation of alien spacecraft.
He just wanted to keep things true, man.
A bunch of documents got leaked in like 1984. The FBI, the only people to speak out on these things, because all the original members are now dead.
There's actually 12 of them.
Yeah, there's actually 12 people, and I'll list them in a second. The FBI is the only one to speak out on the severity of the documents. They've declared them to be completely bogus. They use the term bogus a lot, which I didn't think was like a military term, but apparently bogus is like...
Bill and Ted was pretty hot at the time.
Here's the really fun biscuit.
Little factoid for us.
Little factotum.
Let me just put a little biscuit of truth in the oven for you. Warm it up.
I've got the names of the original, founded by Harry Truman, but not Harry Truman in the first block of 12. Like, he founded the organization.
All right, so this is Dave Proctor's top 12 Majestic 12.
Number 12.
First of all, apart from, like, this is just an observation. These names are really off-putting in the Men in Black sense. Roscoe H. Hillencoter.
Totally a real name.
he invented the Hillen coat.
Number 11.
Vannevar Bush. James Forrestal. Nathan Twining.
Hashtag.
Detlev Bronk.
We're just throwing letters together.
Jerome Clark Hunsaker. Sidney Sewers.
Sounds like he's from Down Under.
Sidney Sewers
Yeah.
sounds like a porno name.
Sounds like it's from down under because Sydney, Australia.
And Down Under is the sewer.
Yeah.
All
It's
right.
like a really clever joke that you guys just...
Starring Sidney Sewers. She sounds like she only does anal. Gordon Gray.
Oh,
It's a totally normal name. Also the last one to pass away.
wow.
Donald Menzel.
Menzel is very Spanish.
I think that's actually from Washington. Robert Montague and Lloyd Berkner. All kind of weird names. Oh, and number 12, Hoyt Vanderberg.
Oh! Fuck off.
Hoyt Vanderberg, the guy responsible for creating Project Mogul, meeting with Lockheed, and establishing Area 51.
He was taking the conspiracy to new heights.
Brand new Hoyts.
What did these Majestic 12 accomplish?
Their goal was for the recovery and investigation of alien spacecraft.
But they didn't find anything because there's no such thing as aliens?
They didn't find anything because there's no such thing as those people.
Yeah,
all
that's-
those names are completely made up.
Let's see if we have any mutual friends on Facebook.
Yes.
One mutual friend, Callum McPhee.
So Roosevelt dies,
Yeah, Truman takes over.
starts, that's when all this like UFO malarkey starts.
Mm-hmm.
Opens up this potentially phony Majestic 12,
Potentially bogus.
bogus research group, and they go on a journey of
Self-discovery.
searching for the truth. And then like nothing's ever brought out or reported.
Yeah, that's
And then
essentially
basically, and then the only other time after that somebody promised us that they would release everything to the public, immediately redacted.
Yep.
His claim. Yeah.
Yes.
So the Jimmy Carter UFO incident is the name given to an incident in which Jimmy Carter, the U.S. president from 1977 to 1981, reported seeing an unidentified flying object while at Leary, Georgia in 1969. While governor of Georgia, Carter was asked to file a report of the sighting by the International UFO Bureau in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, which he did in September 1973. Since its writing, the report has been discussed several times by both UFOologists,
like, it's not a good word. I
UFOologists.
said earlier that I really don't
English,
like that.
okay. Anyway, and by members of the mainstream media. The sighting is said to have had a personal impact on Carter and his reception of UFO and UFO sightings. During his 1976 election campaign, he is said to have told reporters that, as a result of it, he would institute a policy of openness if he were elected to office, saying, quote, "One thing's for sure, I'll never make fun of people who say they've seen unidentified objects in the sky. If I become president, I'll make every piece of information this country has about UFO sightings available to the public and the scientists." Despite his earlier pledge, however, once elected, Carter distanced himself from disclosures, citing defense implications as being behind his decision.
It's amazing that, like, throughout history, UFOs and national defense are folded into each other constantly. Like, they just kind of gloss over that. It's not like I can't tell you this because it's a lie. It's like I can't tell you this because of the military. Like,
Didn't Barack Obama talk about it?
Barack Obama was the first U.S. president to acknowledge the existence of Area 51 on television.
He talked about the homies. He's the first one to represent homie.
Barack Obama was the first president to acknowledge the existence of Homie Airport.
To call back to his homies.
Yeah.
He poured out the details and leaked information.
Which he probably did after the official poll of information, like after 2013. Like, he probably just did that a year ago or so. That's the depth of the interesting conspiracies. You can push this a little further. You can bring in the lizard people. You can say that the government is in with the aliens, and some people believe that the American government has made a trade to ignore abductions so that aliens can use us for food in exchange for their technology.
Back to my boy, J-Rod.
Okay, and now I want to go to that.
Bruce Burgess, he's a guy who claimed to have worked alongside this alien who was basically known as J-Rod. But he was part of a UFO crash that happened through like some strange glitch when they were traveling. It was him and two of his other brothers. He stayed behind while the other ones, somehow left. And his purpose here was to work with our scientists to help develop alien technologies at a rate that was safe for us to understand.
So that our minds didn't blow up.
Yeah, like for example, like they claim to use this element, unpentium.
Heavy element 115, because that's something that...
It's element 115.
Yeah, because that's what Lazar said that they used.
Your buddy, your boy.
Lazar. Laser.
Laser beak.
Oh, the laser there.
Laser man.
Yeah.
Brought up this element 115, but it didn't exist. But he said that the way that it operated, it could kind of create this sort of reverse magnetic field. That's how they were able to fly around at such weird angles, like with their UFO. Or, their spaceship or whatever it is. And it wasn't until like 30, 35 years later they actually discovered that element.
Yep.
And it did exactly what he said it was going to do. So despite his like false MIT claims or whatever.
Yeah.
Because he was actually called out once. It's like, well, who was your teacher? And he named his teacher. And this was actually like a professor at some other school where he actually found documentation that he was enrolled in.
DeVry School of Ufology.
Or you could take that online now.
The University of Roswell Online.
So they worked with this, with this J-Rod guy. They're known to communicate telepathically, like because their vocal cords aren't developed like ours. So that's how they can always understand him. Interestingly enough, he wasn't allowed to wear clothes. His genitalia was always on display.
His J-Rod?
His J-Rod, which was described as a circular array of clasps.
By the women who knew him.
To all my homeowners out there, have you ever plugged in a washer and dryer? Like those big ass like plugs.
Yeah.
That's essentially what he claimed it looked like. And then through the use of his telepathy, was able to manipulate his genitals to show what the female genitalia looked, which is basically the
inverse
we're gonna
of
use
that.
we're gonna use the male female plug analogy.
The female end of that plug.
It was like receiving clasps.
Receive me with your clasps.
Clamp me.
Really completes the circuit.
Soon
7 months a
probing
year.
the anals of truth.
It's true.
I feel like we can't not touch
The butt.
We got to touch on the anal probing. What on earth are they looking for? We talked about their weird claspy genitals,
Yeah.
so maybe they're fascinated. Maybe our butts look like claspless female genitals.
Right, and there's a poking to that because there's nothing interlocking.
Also, hey, when was the male A spot discovered.
If it was discovered in 1947, I'm going to lose my fucking shit.
I don't know when everyone else discovered it, but I discovered it. What the fuck else would they want? Or could they possibly learn from sticking some shit up our bum?
Well, like...
Because our anusi look like
Nope.
anuses?
Yes. I know it doesn't seem right. Ani would be right, but it's not.
Look
Latin
vaguely
word.
like their female genitalia, but there's no way to lock in.
What with all the clasps?
Perhaps they were trying to reverse engineer our anuses so that we could interbreed and create one sole Maladian species.
Maladian?
I tried to make mulatto an alien thing. I
I
don't
feel
think I'm
like-
supposed to say mulatto anymore, though.
No.
I think it means donkey.
I feel like we also misused the term reverse engineered in that sense.
But do you think that they were trying to figure out how our buttholes worked so they could possibly breed with us?
Actually, you know what? That's a really good point because, okay, superior species of human life. Male, 25 to 30.
Debatable.
True. Now, when the male 25 to 30 goes to, like, wants to mate, but not, like, for experiment, not for marriage or for life, just for experiment to mate, where does he go? He goes to a club, and he finds a lesser life form,
Experiment like
female, 19 to 22.
Debatable.
So he goes to a lesser life form to mate, to try to kind of tap into the life of someone of a lesser species than him, which makes sense that aliens would want to tap into the life form of a male into his butthole.
pause.
Age.
Pause.
Listening to that was like watching an interview.
Are you referring to women under the age of 25 as a lesser life form?
I'm saying that the superior.
Or are you fucking other animals? Because I was genuinely confused as to what your point is.
I'm saying that
Because aliens are not the same species as us.
male and female aren't the same species.
Yes, we are.
No, they have different species
Listen-
down underneath their waist.
Species.
Right.
Species
Sorry.
is how it's
They have
pronounced.
different species.
listening
species.
to that little diatribe was like watching an interview with like a serial killer. I was just like, oh yeah.
Male and females have different species. Just like males and aliens had different cis-species. It's also species to me.
Yeah, there we go.
And now we're drunk. And that's the line. After all of that, in 2013, the U.S. admits that Area 51 is a real place.
But was used for experimental aircraft research.
And nothing more.
Which is kind of cool because when you look at like some of those, like the AR-12 and like the stealth bomber and stuff, originally when they were testing them, they weren't painted. They were just like a standard silver.
Silver metal.
Yeah, and the way that they would fly them, because they're odd shape, you would get strange like glints off of the airplane, right?
Yeah.
Which is why they painted them black, to avoid that. So they're shaped in a way that will confuse ground radar, and then to deceive the eye, because they're small, right? And they fly so high. If they're black, you can't see them. It just absorbs the sunlight. One of the refutes to the claims that you're seeing UFOs, that you're actually seeing airplanes being flown by professional test pilots, and they're doing rigorous testing. So they're flying them at extremely weird angles and patterns. For example, you can fly a plane completely on its side. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to the plane. You know, like
Knife.
yeah, exactly. So like you can fly these planes at all these strange angles and do these weird drifts and drops, and they're high performance aircrafts.
Yeah.
So they can handle all this like strenuous, and they have to, you know, really, really fuck with these things to try and break them. That way, you know, nothing will go wrong in the actual field. Mm-hmm. So when people see these testing, they do look like unidentifiable objects in the sky.
Yeah.
Because it's nothing. They're building things like nothing they've built before. Therefore, we're seeing things like we've never seen.
Fair.
But again, this kind of goes in like, Are we seeing new and strange things because we're using alien technology to reverse engineer and then implementing them with our minimal understanding of how things can work? Why do we imagine aliens looking just like us but slightly different? Versus like when we imagine a monster, it looks like a spider. Because like a spider defies all fucking logic to us. Like that's a scary beast.
Spiders are fucking weird.
If we really saw an alien who was existing in a different atmosphere and environment, why would it be a biped?
Yeah.
You know, or walk on 4 legs, or look like a dog, or any kind of animal we've seen before. When you see these things like greys and stuff like that, are they presenting themselves in a way that is acceptable to us? Because they'll blow our mind.
You're really into Grey's Anatomy.
Conspiracy theories.
Done.
Conspiracy theories. Not true. Conspiracy theories. Aliens. Conspiracy theories. Aliens too. Conspiracy theories. Mel Gibson. Conspiracy theories. Conspiracy theories.
I'm glad we took the time.
Dr. Robert!
What did you actually say? Dr.
Orville Redenbacher.
The first doctor that popped in my head. I haven't had a physical in like 14 years. But I've eaten a lot of popcorn.
Side note, you should probably have a physical. So after this,
So you get shakier on microwaves?
Post-traumatic arthritis.
that's why he always walks in and goes, "Hey guys, what's poppin'?"
If I was a robot, I'd be doing